Hi, everyone, and welcome to Earp Curse Con Start the Wave team panel. Today we have Dom, Julie,
Hello.
Porter, D2, Addie, and Randy. Thank you guys so much for participating in our con.
Yay.
for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much for
For
having
having
us.
Absolutely. I didn't realize how many people were like so eager to find out who was behind the Start the Wave team until we announced your panel, and people
That's so
went
cool.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure. You lucky people, you get to meet some of the most wonderful humans.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for this.
So I wanted to start out just going around and introducing yourselves and telling us kind of what your roles are in the team and your journey on becoming a part of the team. Dom, we'll start with you just in case anybody's here that is just kind of finding Start the Wave. So
Sure.
if you want to lead the way, go ahead.
Absolutely. My name's Dominique, and I am the founder of Start the Wave. It all started back a few years ago when really it started, I felt a real need to try and make a difference. And up until that point, I didn't really know how to. And off the back of some traveling that I did, I decided to buy everyone in the cast and crew of Wynonna Earp, no one here knows about Wynonna Earp, that's for sure.
No one.
Yeah, no one knows who that is. But I decided to buy everyone a reusable water bottle because I had really seen the effects of our disposable lifestyles firsthand when in India. And I thought, well, this is something that I can do. And I just felt really passionate to try and eliminate some of the plastic waste on our set. So I went out and bought everyone a water bottle and then posted about it on Instagram. And overnight, so many amazing Earpers went out and followed suit and also got the water bottle. And suddenly I started seeing the effects of that and the ripples that were caused by an action that I decided to take. And it felt really empowering and really exciting to see, how, if you calculate how many water bottles that would actually amount to, it was like crazy. Because I mean, per season on Wynonna Earp, we were going through north of 12,000 water bottles every season.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a lot of plastic that I was like, well, amazing. Now that's eliminated. And now all of these other people are sort of taking it upon themselves and being really open and listening. And it was really exciting. So that sort of formed this idea that actually, what we do does make a difference. And every single person can make positive change if they feel called. So I started the idea of, Start the Wave, which has grown and evolved and developed, and never in a million years would I have thought that it would have become a non-profit organization. But it sort of naturally happened like this as all of these beautiful team members that I can't wait for you to meet all started joining, and suddenly we realized that, hang on a second, this could be something bigger. So it's been an amazing journey, and without further ado, go and meet these beautiful humans, because that's really what you're here for today.
Well, congratulations. This organization has already made like huge impacts across many different communities. So nice work, Dom.
So much. Thanks, dude. Really nice to see you, by the way.
You too. Addie, you're up.
Hey guys, my name is Addie. I was, I've been with Start the Wave for about 3 years now. I was the second in line. I reached out to, I was on Instagram one night and was already looking at things like zero waste and eco-friendly stuff and trying to make changes in my own life to live a more sustainable lifestyle. And the Start the Wave, like right as Dom had started it, kind of popped up in the algorithm. And I was sort of familiar with Wynonna, but I'd seen maybe a couple episodes. So there was enough of a recognition there that I was like, oh, I recognize her. And then started checking out Start the Wave and was like, I think I could help in some way. I could offer some web development to start. And so I reached out to Dom and basically was like, you know, I'm trying to do the things that you're trying to do. I think I could help give the community a place to connect and organize. And then the rest is kind of history. So we worked together for about a year and a half, 2 years, trying to get all of our ducks in order.
Addie was very patient with me. I did not know what Start the Wave was going to become, and you were incredibly patient and just went with the natural flow of things. Do carry on, Addie.
I was to give everybody like timeline reference, when Dom was like traversing through Brazil, like from fishing village to fishing village, I would get random voice notes like once every 2 weeks, like, hey, I've got Wi-Fi for just a second and I love the idea, I think that's great, let's do this. And then like I would work and then another 2 weeks would go by, like, hey, I've got Wi-Fi again and I'm not, you know. And it kind of just constantly evolved. So we went through a couple of iterations through the website, and then we're trying to get everything sort of show ready and recognize that we needed a third. We needed somebody who could help formalize everything, get us set up as a true nonprofit, and somebody who had a little bit more experience in the nonprofit space. And one of the many, many things I am learning from Dom to sort of separate from my very corporate American mindset is to allow things to unfold unnaturally, and to really sort of surrender to a sense of divine timing, because when you need something, often it will appear. And just like that, we got an email from a beautiful human named Melissa Porter.
As if by magic.
With that, I will kick it over. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey guys, I am Porter. Let's see. I have been with Start the Wave. I'm going on my year anniversary, so pretty pumped about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Like Addie, it actually happened through Instagram. Those algorithms will get you. And like she had mentioned, just kind of reached out and offered legal services. And so for Start the Wave specifically, I do like the legal and business stuff, finance stuff, and then like partnerships. And let's see, what else are we? I guess that's kind of it. That's my story. That's what I do here. Yeah.
All of the stuff that I literally am like, sorry, Porter, can you explain to me what the hell that means? And she's so generous and like, yeah, no problem. But it's like completely different worlds, which is amazing. Because like you say, Addie, we so needed Porter to get it to the next level. And it really was like the most magical thing in the world. Like we'd had the conversation, I think the week before, and we're like,
yeah,
shit, like we're at a place where it's, you know, we either make it into an official non-profit organization, or like, where are we going with this? Like, what's it going to become? We kind of, we need somebody that's going to be able to understand all that stuff. And then like literally, bing, and they happen to live, Addie and Porter happen to live 2 hours from each other just by chance. I was like, wow, it's happening. Yeah.
It's the universe.
Totally.
When I looked at the Instagram for Start the Wave, I literally looked at it and had that thought. I was like, it looks like they're inching towards being like a nonprofit officially and incorporated, but like they just need those final steps. And that's why I had reached out. I was like, man, I'm jiving with like everything that's on this page. Let's do this.
So fucking cool.
And to second what Dom said, Porter, you like working with you for these past couple of months has been amazing, and you are very good at explaining things, and you're a pleasure to
I appreciate
work
that.
You're welcome.
And you as well. You've been fantastic.
Thank you. So I have a follow-up question for you, Porter. What about Start the Wave? What made you drawn to Start the Wave versus any other organization or nonprofit?
Man, I think everything. Like I'm a huge energy person, and like everything about the page. And then when I spoke with Addie initially, and then when I spoke with Addie and Dom, everything about it felt like it was like speaking to me. And like I'm on the board of a couple of other nonprofits, and I absolutely love them, and I love everything that they do. But like, there is this energy with Start the Wave that I just feel so drawn to, and I just believe in everything that we're doing and promoting. That there's so much honesty in it. Like, I don't have to fake anything. I can just be myself, and I can promote these things, and I feel great about it. Like, I love it.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
That's incredible. D2, how about you?
So I am also coming up on a year. I didn't realize Porter and I joined so close, but yeah, my year's in November. I've been following Start the Wave from the beginning. I'm an Earper, so of course, you know, Dom posts a video and everyone runs, you know, and it was super inspiring. And it kind of like to Porter's point, it spoke to the things that I knew I needed to focus on in my life. And it was just kind of like that, oh my gosh moment, like, okay, let's do it. And I've changed completely how I consume everything, information, food, you know, plastics, waste, everything has changed. I was lucky enough to be connected with Dom through cons, like we met there. And a friend of mine and Dom were collaborating on a sticker at the time for GYC. And so we had been in contact, and they mentioned, because I was working with Addie as well, that they were about to become a nonprofit, and you know, they were getting all their ducks in a row. And so I just said, hey, I have a ton of free time if you need help. And Addie's like, actually, we do. We need someone to take over social because we want to start posting more regularly, have, you know, consistency there. And then we could also use your design skills. And so that's kind of how I joined, was that conversation. And so I've taken over all of the design for Start the Wave. So all of the Instagram posts that you see, the t-shirt campaigns, website stuff, all of that is my wheelhouse. And then I also do all of the social media management. So I make all the posts, reply to messages, comments, that kind of thing. So.
And we've seen a lot of positive feedbacks, especially about the social media post and the design. So fantastic job on your end.
Thanks. Yeah, and we realized, I think a couple months in, that was a lot for one person. So that was when Julie joined the team. And she was my savior.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, folks. I guess my joining of the team was a little more organic, as in I was in a vegan bar, Dom was in a vegan bar. So it was like, hey, you love veganism, meditation, all of the things, intersectionality, me too. And it was really cool because it's kind of hard to find your people when you're so passionate about so many things and not just one thing. So through super awesome conversations, Dom was just like, well, speaking of all of the things we love, I have this NGO.
Literally all the things we love.
All of the things we love. So it was too perfectly lined up. So that's when I joined in and became super tight with D2. We talk every day. And the thing that I sort of bring to the table is the content you see on social and the researching behind that, as well as the resource page. And then also working with the awesome D2 and Dom to make sure our visuals are super cohesive across all the platforms.
You guys are such like a...
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, finish.
I started at the brink of 2020, this beautiful transformative year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One good thing in 2020. We got
right.
There's
so you take one positive out of it.
Waking up.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing's new. We're just waking up.
Yes.
It's so
exactly.
good. 2020 is awesome. We all just got a slap and now we're like, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So true. So true.
Hi, Randy.
Hey, so
how are you?
I'm well. I'm Randy. I've been here for about a month and a half, so I'm like the baby of the family. I followed Dom. I obviously watched the show, and I followed Dom on Instagram, and there were a couple things that I saw. I saw her Diva Cup video, and I was like, this is amazing. I've been for like 10 years. This is great. And then I did see the water bottle thing, and then I started following Start the Wave more. And it just the same thing as Julie. It's just everything that I was passionate about, Start the Wave hit. And when they started posting about Black Lives Matter, because I've been a part of organizations and they're always missing one thing. But as soon as Start the Wave part started posting about Black Lives Matter, I was like, I need to be involved in this in any way, shape, or form. So I reached out and yeah, I got an email and said, would you be interested in meeting? And I met with Porter, and she was awesome, and then met with the rest of the team. It was good. It was really, really awesome. But yeah, so I'm hoping, you know, my direction is potentially, or it's research and content, maybe a little bit of outreach, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's nice to meet you all. And I'm sure Earpers are going crazy finally getting to see you all together. So
Yay.
All right. So my next question is for my fellow Earpers, Dom, D2. And I feel like I know the answer to this, the first part of this question, but I'm going to ask anyway. What are your thoughts on Earpers and how that community has affected Start the Wave?
Oh my goodness. Okay, D2, am I cool to kick off?
Go for it.
Okay, awesome. Well, really, Start the Wave wouldn't exist without the Earpers. If we think about it, like I said, if we go back to my water bottle mission, where the seed was planted, had there not been a beautiful team of Earpers that were so open and receptive and took action, Start the Wave wouldn't exist. Or maybe it would, but maybe it would be something different, you know? But very much like they inspired me. So I always say this about Earpers in general, like I feel so grateful that I have been part of the Earper community because it has helped me in so many ways on my own personal journey, stepping into my authenticity, my sexuality, everything. And Start the Wave is very much a part of that bundle too. Because yeah, I would go to conventions and I would see the effects that my little videos had at the time and have amazing conversations that would continue to inspire me. And then I would go back and go, hang on a minute, like maybe there is a place for this. Maybe, you know, my mad mind that goes off into 1,000 different new tangents, like maybe there's something to this, and I have a responsibility with you know, being part of this community to make something of this and, you know, overcome my own fear and anxiety around it, and just hold space for not only this amazing community but anybody else who feels called to come and join the team. So without the Earpers this wouldn't exist, and I'm so grateful to have them as family. And you know, I think that Earpers and Start the Wavers intersect so much, and they will always be such a huge part of this journey.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. D2,
Fucking
how
love them.
about you?
I think Dom summed up, as far as, you know, Earpers and Start the Wave, exactly that. Like, you know, when I was thinking through things to prepare for this, it was really like, I think Start the Wave would have existed. I think it would have become what it is, but I don't know if it would have done it as fast. Because I really think that like Earpers were the fuel for the fire. You know, Dom lit that little match and, you know, they just poured gasoline on it. And so I think Start the Wave will forever be thankful for that, because they really put us on that trajectory of where we are now. I mean, obviously just Earpers in general. I am an Earper, so I love them. The show has brought me not just friends, but family, you know, people that will be in my life forever. My tight group of friends, you know, were hyping me up for this panel. And, you know, one of them helped me test Zoom this morning. You know, I mean, I'm just so thankful that I've met these people, and that, you know, they're just good people. I mean, that's the fandom, it's just good people. And that's what Start the Wave needs to be built on. So
Right. It's that found family.
Well said, D2.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yes.
Yeah.
thank you.
I find that Earpers often say that it's a found family, and you find your tribes within and your close groups within. So
Yeah.
And I mean, they brought me to this tribe of these beautiful people.
Right,
who are
exactly.
Very important in my life too. So
exactly. So this next question is for everyone. Dom, I'm going to start with you. How has Start the Wave impacted your individual lives outside of the organization, and what has been your biggest takeaway from this organization?
Good question. Really good question. I think for me, you know, having started the wave in my life is so good for me, because it helps me stay curious, it helps me be creative, and it helps me zoom out and see the bigger picture, you know, because as the sort of the founder, I suppose, and what I bring to the table is often like inspiration from the outside world, and try and feed that back into the organization and say, hey, I've been thinking about this, and maybe we could try and use this to, you know, achieve this. So many thises. But like, you know, that's a lot of what I do. And so for me, it's like, it's been my sort of North Star and like my moral compass. And it keeps me aligned with the things that I really care about and the things that I'm passionate about, and also helps me check in both with myself and with the community and the collective, and think about how I can best be of service in this lifetime, which is the biggest gift I could ever have. And, you know, it's funny, like I was thinking about it, and Start the Wave for me personally feels like a philosophy that is sort of outside of myself and what we've created, and we're like the facilitators of this community, that we can hold space for other people to find their own authenticity and their own way into positive change. But really, like, I still very much feel like a member of the community too, you know. I don't really like the word founder, because it sounds like I sort of created it, but really, like, without sounding too, you know, hokey pokey, but I feel like Start the Wave found me in some ways. Like, the philosophy, I continue to understand more about it every day, and I feel like it's just keeps me checking in with, you know, universal truths, and trying to really understand why I'm here, and how we can best be of service for everyone, really. So it makes a huge difference in my life. I'm so grateful to have it, and to be, you know, have been to have attracted in this incredible group of people that are inspiring me every day. Like, without Start the Wave, I wouldn't have that in my life. So yeah, it keeps me grounded, and it keeps me inspired, which is just, yeah, the best gift ever. Did that sort of answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
good.
good.
It was so sweet.
Oh, okay, good.
I do agree with you, Dom, too, about like the learning. Like, I'm constantly learning from you guys, and I love it. It's amazing. You guys teach me like a lot. like, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like, and that, you know, we see it within our own, the team here, like, we're all learning from each other. But it's such a key philosophy of Start the Wave, like, to stay open and to be continually learning, and to, you know, eliminate your ego as much as possible, and know that you've always got more to learn. And that's why, you know, it's so much more than just like an organization. It's like a community where, you know, all of us are learning from all of us. You know, every single person that has found Start the Wave has a different way of looking at things, and a different angle, different life experience, and different things to bring to the table. And like, it is so key. So yeah, you're right. It helps you, it keeps you learning, keeps you curious, keeps you aware
So
and
true.
understanding.
It also keeps you like accountable. Like, I think, like, as a team, we send a lot of individual messages to each other when we're learning and growing. And sometimes it's like quite simply like, I don't know if you know, but this sort of language maybe leaves out this sort of community. So let's come away from this language and start using these words. And
Yeah.
I find more often than not, we're like each other's accountability buddies. And it's like a cool thing to practice within an organization, and also take out to your friends and your family, and people on the street. It's a good way to sort of feel out how you could be not only like bringing yourself up and holding yourself accountable, but like help bring the people around you along. Because if you're not growing, what are you doing?
100%.
100%. And then beyond that, like, there's so much going on in the world right now, and so much is being thrown at us, and a lot of it is negative. Like a lot of us, and a lot of us do suffer from depression and anxiety, and you hear all of these things and it's overwhelming. But Start the Wave gives everybody this community that says, you know what, guys, like, we can make a difference. Yes, bad is happening in the world, but you know what? If we all stick together and we all stay positive, we can do this. Like, let's make this world a better place. And it's, you just feel it. It's so cool.
I think too, like a little bit beyond that for me, like the watching the community and the interactions and stuff, and being a participant, but also an observer, it gives me a lot of hope. To piggyback on what Porter says, there's so much negativity that is out there right now, especially I know a lot of us are really feeling the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg yesterday. And so it is Start the Wave for me, I think, is sort of, I love the duality of really finding your own authentic way into bringing about positive change, but also as a collective, bringing about positive change. And I think the thing I've taken away is that we are sort of the heroes of our own story. And it calls us all to be the heroes of our own story and not to wait for anybody else. Because sometimes, you know, other people take a little while to get to you. So show up for your own story and your own evolution. And as we all know from our favorite TV show, heroes always win. So it's a good time.
Hell yeah. Well done.
Yeah. And I think to build on Addie too, like for me, I think my biggest takeaway and like the biggest impact it's had, I mean, obviously personally, I've had a lot, I kind of talked to that in the intro question, but I think it came at a time where I was able to adjust my parenting style. And because I have an 11-year-old son, and he was at that age, you know, he was 8 or 9, and it taught me how to teach him to go out as that next generation and lead in a better way. And like, it's crazy to me. Sometimes we'll be watching a show or we'll be watching a movie or something's on and he'll make some comment that's like totally feminist. And I'm like, whoa, like, did you just say that? Like, and then I'm like,
yes,
oh my God.
Good job, D2.
Like,
good job.
You know, I'm just like,
yes.
And I'll give him a high five. And like, when he sees representation on TV, like, I mean, just little things like the Star Wars kiss and, you know, the moms in Toy Story 4, he's like, oh, Mom, it was lesbian moms. And I was like, I know, bud. And he's like super excited.
That's so
yeah.
cool.
There's what?
There's moms in Toy Story 4?
Yeah, there's these two moms that drop their kid off for the first day of school.
Hell
yeah. And
dude.
he picked up on it and I was just like, yes. And so like, I think for me, that's like, you know, I'm proud of the things I've done as a person and like the changes I've made for like my family and, you know, things like that. But I think my most proud is the way that my parenting style has changed and what I'm doing to help him kind of go out in the right mindset. Because they're really the next generation that are going to lead this world. So we need to get them off on the right foot.
D2 awesome. Feelings.
I
know. Don't make me cry.
Talking about what Porter and Addie were talking about, when you get overwhelmed by the negativity that's going on in the world, I have I felt like it's affected my focus on the ways I want to affect change in the world, and being a part of the team. And actually, Dom and I had a conversation of where it's going, and it just gives me so much hope of what we can do to help make this community better and make good changes. So it's given me so much excitement and so much drive and focus, and I'm very, very excited to see where things go.
Yeah, me too. Here to that,
Wow.
Andy.
I
just
loved all of
keeps
those
evolving
answers.
and changing. It's awesome.
Wow. So D2, I'm gonna pick on you for a second.
Oh, you're gonna pick on me.
Yeah, in a good way.
Okay.
In a good way.
Okay.
So we talked a little bit about your artwork, and like I said, we've been getting a lot of questions and like positive feedback about your art and your sketches and all of those kinds of things. I want to know what has been your inspiration for Start the Wave art specifically. And I also have to mention that the last one that was posted, the new moon one, has
So
been my
beautiful.
absolute favorite.
Yes.
Thank
Just
you.
had to put that out there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Inspiration. I mean, Julie touched on it earlier and talked about how her and I and Dom, one of the really good things, if we have to find a blessing in a hiatus, is that we had a ton of free time with Dom to where we could sit down, and I mean like 1 to 2 hour phone calls every other day for like weeks, where we were just diving into like what Dom's vision of visuals were. And really narrowed down a design identity for Start the Wave. And that's what we've been doing for the last few months. And so it really is, there's some key components, like we always want to have them be positive. We always want to have them, showing this perfect world that we're hoping to change and create. So you'll see free range animals, you'll see blue skies, you'll see beautiful forests, clean water, all these different things. And we also do a mixed media. That's also been kind of one of our design styles. So we'll do illustrations, photographs, textures, colors, all of that. So whether it looks like it or not, every single thing has a photograph. So a lot of the times it'll be like the night sky and the moon post. That's an actual photograph, whereas the other things are illustrations, or like the moon was an illustration, but the earth that was over top of it is a photograph, those types of things. As far as like inspiration, since you brought up the last post, I can kind of just go through like one post as an example, because it's what we just worked on. So
Definitely.
the steps kind of go where Dom will give me an umbrella inspiration. So like with the moon, she said, okay, the moon this time is about health and healing and transformation and introspection and kind of, opening our eyes to new things. And I'm like, okay. And then I go away with that and I like start looking through what's available and different things. And I'll actually start looking like symbols of healing, symbols of transformation, and kind of get what those things are. And then I'll go in and I'll start designing everything and throwing it together. And then we'll go back and forth from that point. And sometimes when she writes her caption, there'll be little words that I'm like, oh, I gotta go change this really quick, and add this element and, things like that. And so with the moon post, like I added the little like first aid cross on the backpack that wasn't there before.
Did you add that?
Mhm.
I did add that, yeah.
And it's interesting because I thought about it, oh, that's tight. That's really, worked out well that there's like a first aid cross. I didn't know you'd added
No,
it.
there wasn't. Yeah, so I added it because it, it was for health and healing. We did the
cool.
moon and the earth for the earth power. I don't know if a lot of people noticed it, but I hid a butterfly in the moon for transformation. So there's all these little elements that kind of bring the caption together into like one visual thing. But yeah, that's basically how each, graphic is inspired, is an umbrella of the content. And then we work together to make sure that the final content and that match.
You do such
Love
a
it.
fantastic job. So
Thank you.
well done. And also, I know you do Wynonna Earp merch. And so for all of the Earpers watching, if you're one of those people that likes Wynonna Earp merch, D2 has
Yes.
a red bubble, and you have to go there and support her work because it's
Thank
incredible.
you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Karen.
Sure. Julie,
Yo.
so we talked a little bit about the resource pages and things like that. I have to say this is my absolute favorite thing about Start the Wave. That you guys take the time to collect not only information, but the correct information. And you take your time with that before you go and put it out to the community, because this is such a big community. You have such a large platform, so it matters what you say and what you put out.
Yeah.
So I love that you guys take the time and you get it right before you put it out there.
100%.
So I just wanted to ask you why you think that's important, and why it's important to put the correct information out before it spreads into a large community like Earpers and Start the Wave. And
Yeah, I think for us, the thing with like the resources, that we have the single resource page on our site, and we've been wanting to have multiples for every pillar for a while now, but we're a pretty small team and it takes a lot of work. We're getting there though. But the importance of just having this vetted material is key, because there's just so much information out there constantly that is not being vetted, and we want to present stuff to the community. So like, here's some true information, and we're not going to tell you what to do or how to do anything or how you should be living your life, but here's a wealth of information that you can absorb and then decide for yourself and see how your impact can suit your life and your community with this information you have at hand. And if you're not getting truthful information or authentic information, how are you going to figure out the authentic life you're trying to live? So it's just a matter of, like when you walk into your favorite section of the library and you're like, you go in the one row and you pull down all the books and you just like sit down one day and you're just like, this is all the stuff I want to absorb. We kind of want to present that in an online format for people who are just really truly trying to figure out some truths about themselves and the world around them, and just compile it to make sense in their minds so they can take those steps forward.
Well, I applaud you in bringing that in to Start the Wave, because that's huge. And there are a lot of young people coming in and finding Start the Wave that don't know where to turn for those resources. So it's nice to have.
It's tricky because everything's about clickbait, and like we're not here to make money off advertisements, and we're not trying to make you skim through this ridiculous story just so you can pass 4 ads. We're just truly like, here's information. Because like I am such a Google rabbit hole person, and there's nothing more frustrating than getting blocked by ads or unnecessary, most of the time untrue information before you can get to the good stuff. I'm just like, give me the truth. Like, just give me the truth, guys.
Yeah. And sometimes it's so hard to decipher what that is, in today's world. Like there's just so much stuff out there, and I certainly find it incredibly overwhelming.
Like we have to do a lot of research for every little thing. Yeah. Like we do general Googles and backtracking of original sources, and then Porter needs to grab the really juicy stuff and make sure there's no sneaky legal things we should be knowing about, which every once in a while there is. And Porter's like, guys, red flag, sorry. We're like, back to the drawing board. Okay.
It really shows. It really shows. It shows how much time and effort.
Porter, you're the hero.
Yes.
Porter's the hero.
Porter is the hero for sure.
Porter is the hero.
Right.
Yeah, even my mom is like watching the news and she's like, what is, and I'm like, no. You got to go to Start the Wave and
oh, that's so sweet.
So we talked about the resources portion on the website, and there's also a portion for veganism, which I myself am trying to explore, and it's been really difficult. So this question's for Randy and Julie. Randy, if you want to start this off, what advice would each of you give someone trying to explore veganism?
I sit back and enjoy this.
Yeah.
So Dawn takes off her sweater. She's like, I'm so ready.
All right, hit me.
She's like, yeah, what advice would you give me?
Yeah, well, it's always lovely. So, like, genuinely, I'm excited to hear the answer to these questions, because like veganism is such a journey, right? So like we're all at different stages, and I'm also still on the journey. We all are. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Randy.
No. It's true. Like, I mean, my veganism journey has been 24 years. So
24.
Well, I stopped eating red meat, pork, and fish 24 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a while. It's been a long time coming, and it was super natural for me. But yeah, so I'd say start out with like why you want to be vegan, and like let that be your focus. For me, it started out because I was like, wait, I don't have to eat meat. Cool. Then I won't. And then it eventually became about sustainability and animal rights. So I'm sure it'll evolve for people. And then I would say, start out slow, do things that are manageable for you. Don't jump into it all at once. Like, don't, throw everything out in your fridge and go buy everything vegan or your cruelty-free products or whatever. Just start out slow and something manageable that that you can make the shift very easily, like non-dairy milk, super easy. And And then I would say kind of like manage your expectations around it. And what I mean by that is like, don't, go into a vegan restaurant and if it's crappy food, be like, veganism is the worst. I hate vegan food. Cause like no one goes into, a meat restaurant, gets a burger and has a bad experience. It's like meat burgers are the worst. No one ever eat a meat burger. So like manage your expectations. It's going to take you a bit of time to find what really works for you and what you really like. So just be patient, and then have compassion for yourself. So if you like slip up, don't give yourself a hard time. It's as Dom was saying, it's a journey. It's not a race. It's not a competition. And remind yourself of why you're vegan. That's kind of the advice I would give to everyone.
Beautiful. Well said, Randy.
I never thought of that whole like someone eats a burger at a meat restaurant once and it's crap and they're like, I don't want meat anymore. Like, flips the table. Like that never happened. I wish that was the case. Oh, that's so awesome. I feel like the whole, like we don't need a bunch of people doing all this perfectly. Like everyone just needs to do whatever they can bring to the table, I think is really key in sort of giving yourself a break. But I also think there is a grander, larger accountability you need to hold yourself to. Like you were raised by society to feel entitled to a lot of things. That isn't necessarily true. And we're now at a point in time where we're seeing effects on the environment, effects on our health. These are sentient beings. So really trying to flip that switch of I'm not entitled to these things really, really helps when you're presented with things that you may be craving. Like I was a meat-atarian. Like my snack would be like, let's roast a ham and like dip it in some gooey cheese. I was ridiculous. I don't know how I didn't have a heart attack when I was 10. But flipping that switch to all of a sudden, like I'm not entitled to this sentient being. That's interesting. Like this wasn't put on this earth for me. That was really, really helpful. And I guess as you're going along, I think the biggest food tip I can give to everyone is stop thinking of what you put on your plate as a pie chart in terms of like, this is a protein, so I'm replacing this chicken with this. Like your plate is not a pie chart, your plate is a party, and just have fun with it, because like get some like nutrient apps, like what we put on Start the Wave, and you can really figure out that like all this stuff you're throwing into a bowl or in a pot miraculously becomes, a whole protein. Or, if I don't know what I'm doing, I can sprinkle this on it and all of a sudden I have B12 and my omegas, and you don't need to compartmentalize your food. And once you get away from the places they fit, your dishes become way better and way more insane. And the number one thing I hear from people in my life that go vegan is they're discovering flavors that they never knew existed. Totally. Which is wild, because since the dawn of time, you're seasoning your food with plants. So obviously plants for the yummy part, guys.
100%. And also just get like all the nutritional yeast. That's what I think.
Just like on everything.
On everything. If in doubt, nutritional yeast.
Well, and if you like spice, red chili pepper flakes on everything, hot sauce on everything.
Totally.
Like, oh, you're set. If you like Mexican food, it's a pretty easy transition. He's running with those tacos.
I'm taking notes.
I'm pretty sure that everybody here likes
taco
tacos.
reference for
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's tacos are tasty.
Yeah.
It was such a great opportunity.
It was an organic drop. It really was.
It was. You didn't even plan it. But...
No.
All right. So speaking of crazy times, we're in a pandemic still. And this is a question for everyone. What have you all been doing to keep your heads up and stay positive and maintaining your energy and ambitions towards things that you're most passionate about? And Randy, I'll start with you again for that one.
Sure. Yeah. So I actually took this opportunity. I saw this pandemic as an opportunity to recharge in a way that we've never been able to before, and likely will never ever be able to ever again outside of this specific pandemic. So I just spent a lot of my time being out in the sunshine, unlike I've never been able to, and being alone with myself. But also with friends and family, and they help me with the laughter to recharge and refill my cup. But when it comes to like staying motivated, I just kind of remind myself that the things that I'm doing, like the ways I want to, help change the world, like what is going to make me happier or like less miserable, doing something or not doing something. And it'll always be, doing something is always going to keep me happier. So
wow, that's so beautiful.
My motivation is for sure.
Wow, good for you, dude. That's incredible.
I think
Yeah,
it's interesting because this pandemic and this year has hit everybody so differently. And so many of us are so fortunate just with what we do have. But then it makes you feel bad for even being down or for feeling like you feel you shouldn't feel. And I think for me, it's been helpful to find joy in just everything. Like when I step outside to meditate in the morning, I'm like, oh, the sun is shining. The sun is perfect. The sun is doing its job for us right now. The grass is growing. The grass is beautiful. Just finding joy and like thinking through everything that I'm doing and just what it's really bringing me, I think has been super helpful for me personally, at least.
Beautiful. Gratitude, eh? It'll save you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So D2, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah. I mean, being outside has been like, it's increased a lot, which is like, I think you think you spend a lot of time outside and then you realize that you don't. When you're forced to stay inside and all you want to do is go outside.
Right.
And so, yeah, going outside, even if it's just like going out and sitting in my yard, like it's just been amazing. I've also been focusing, not surprising, on a lot of art. But I always would say that I didn't have time for it. And I think that's been the biggest lesson too, is like realizing all the times we say we don't have time for stuff when really like we're just sitting on the couch on our phones, being pulled in by social media or YouTube rabbit holes or, and it's like, oh yeah, but I don't have time for that, but you don't realize the time you're wasting on non-essentials. Right. I think that's been my biggest thing, is like realizing the time that was spent on non-essentials, like spending more time as a family, like really focusing on that has been awesome. And so, yeah, I think slowing down and like really evaluating how time was spent and like money was spent, I mean, we are like crazy movie people in our household. We love movies. And like we would go to the theater like probably 3 or 4 times a month. Like it was ridiculous. And it's like, I haven't been to a movie theater in 6 months and I don't miss it. Like, and so, but it's weird. Like, but it took this for me to realize like that was a waste of money. It was a waste of time. Like we could have gone on a hike, all those types of things. And so I think kind of just slowing down and opening up and realizing how you were spending your time and how you could be spending it in a more valuable way as far as like building relationships and connections and all those types of things.
I think that's so important too. Like I want to go off of that a little bit, the whole like evaluating how you're spending your time, because I think during this period, I was really focused on like why I'm spending my time doing these things. And those times that you're infinitely scrolling on your phone, you may be doing that for a reason. Like I don't know about y'all or everyone watching, but like hands up, depression, anxiety, all those things my whole life. So like really evaluating in especially a pandemic, like why do I find myself on the couch more than often? Or why do I feel better today? Like, oh, I meditated twice today already. I did some cardio today, or I like picked up the phone and talked to a friend. So like really breaking down during this time why you feel you need distraction or you feel down versus like why you feel happy, and figuring out what those things are so you can start like pulling them out of your little basket when you actually need them.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like even for myself, COVID gave me the opportunity to discover like I didn't like my job and I wanted to do something else. So a lot of realizations and good things came from it, even though it's such like a horrible time and people are going through some really hard times. So
yeah,
for sure. Like what is this darkness trying to teach everyone? Like just like our own personal shadow sides, we exist with these things all the time. So what can you learn from it?
definitely a learning opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
So I wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk about the LGBTQ2IA plus community. Start the wave since the rebirth, Doms and Jerk coming out since the rainbow waves. I have seen the amount of people that I've seen come forward, and they're younger and younger I feel like every time I see, and they're starting to discover themselves, and they give credit to Start the Wave. And I just wanted to know, what advice would you give to these younger people that are coming forward and trying to discover themselves? And like, what would you say to them? And Porter, I'll start with you for this one.
I would say similar to all of the other things you're committing to. So when we spoke about veganism, similar to that journey, and just being patient with yourself along your journey, because a lot of people, especially now, it's amazing how much positive representation there is of that community. And like, we did not have that, even 5 years ago. And I'll be honest, I did come to terms with my sexuality and realized what was going on with myself when I did see it. It was this show called South of Nowhere. And it just like, have you guys seen it? Like, it's, man, that show, I was like, wait, are these two, wait, they're kissing. They're two girls, but they're kissing. And I grew up in like northern Minnesota, and you didn't see that. Like, that was not a thing. It didn't exist. If it did exist, people spoke ill of it, and it was so unfortunate. So I just think people need to see that representation, and then when you feel like, maybe you're not conforming to what you've been told is normal, let that journey happen, but don't automatically put yourself in a box. Like, just because you've seen something and you feel something when you see it doesn't mean that you have to be placed in a box, man. You don't have to ever put yourself in a box. That's why the big Q is awesome. That was a Q. Yeah. Is awesome, because you can just say, yeah, man, I'm queer. And like, don't even define yourself. You don't have to. You can figure it out in life's journey and be patient. And there are going to be times that are going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, and push through, man. Like, you have support. You will always have people. If nobody else, you have the Start the Wave community, man. Like,
there we go.
Everybody is here for you, and do not get yourself too down. Like, if you have a bad day, cool. But then, you know what? Bring yourself back up. Take a look at these posts. Watch Winona Earp. You can see, man, like, the representation's there. You're not alone. You can do this. I think that's
yes.
Yes,
Shannon, that.
Beautiful. I've
so good.
the rainbow flag out.
Oh, so good. It's so true with the whole box thing. Like, I love that because it's like, you know what? Somewhere along the lines, because the original way of living, there were no boxes. Like, some boxes were brought in, this like cis heteronormative idea. So if you feel like you are anything but that, I encourage you so much to not try to find another box, because everything about our existence is fluid. Our sexuality, how we choose to present to the world, how we identify on the inside, who we love, who we don't love. It's so ever evolving. And if you're trying to put your sights on this box in the distance where you're like, oh, I think that's me and I want to go in it to feel safe, I just really encourage you to like sit with yourself and have like beautiful, expansive conversations with people you feel safe with, to constantly talk about the ebbs and flows of the way you present in your sexuality and how you feel, because it is this lifelong, beautiful, fluid journey. And the more we're all giving that grace to ourselves and not gatekeeping ourselves, that means the more we won't be gatekeeping our community, because like we don't need gatekeepers. We just need this like nurturing love of living your authentic self, however that looks in this moment, in this year, in this decade, in your life. Just be you in every single moment.
That's really great advice.
You guys,
I know.
I told you.
You're having this like proud founder moment.
I'm just like, have you seen my cheeks are hurting?
Yeah, proud mom.
The classic like, But like for real, it's just like there's a lot of love in my heart right now.
Oh. Does anyone else wish to touch on that?
I feel like they said it all so beautifully.
I want to say one more thing.
Go for it.
I feel
Go for it.
I want to like touch on the whole like there's the one slightly negative, and I will bring it up about the queer community, is a lot of times we have this perspective of, oh, you're not one of us. And I just want to crush that. You're all one of us. You are all one of us. No matter where you feel you are in this beautiful spectrum, you are queer, and we love you, and just be yourself. And I don't care if that looks like a certain sort of box. Just be yourself. We love you. You are part of the community.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, very well said.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're at the time where we have to start wrapping it up. Unfortunately, there's so many
we could
questions.
talk all day, couldn't we?
I know, we could.
That went fast.
It did go fast.
I say start the wave team panel round 2.
Yeah, same time tomorrow.
Definitely.
Yeah, same time tomorrow. I don't think we have a panel then. So I just want to say thank every single one of you for taking the time to participate in this. And we are so excited to be giving our net profit to you guys. I couldn't think of a better place to put that towards.
Thank you. So much gratitude. You have no idea. You guys are incredible. And this has been so fun. I don't know how the other team members feel, but it's just like, it's a real defining moment for us.
We all quit. Dom's getting a resignation email from every single one of us.
Corinne, speaking of the profits going to start the wave, as everybody knows, with the pandemic, we had to push submissions, and we wanted to get, project submissions in so that we could fund those grassroots efforts. And we are accepting them starting November 1st.
Yay!
So everybody get ready, and we'll be live on the site November 1st for project submissions from the 1st to the 15th. We're super stoked. Like, this is going to be awesome. So excited to see what everybody comes up with and what we can help make happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is so incredible.
Stuff coming up in the next couple of months. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, it feels like yet another very sort of defining moment in the evolution of Start the Wave. And like we were talking about COVID, we have been so lucky in a sense to have had this time to be able to slow down and really think about what it is we want to do and how we're going to do it. So exciting things coming, as you say, Porter, submissions opening, which is awesome. If I'd say to everyone, keep your eyes and ears open for any little grassroots initiatives that you feel could do with some support. We are open to all of them so that we can try and create as many positive waves as possible. And yeah, just thank you so much to every single person that showed up today and took an hour. Has it been an hour? An hour out of their day to listen to our journey and keep going on your own journey to positive change, because it looks different for everyone. And that's the thing that is really coming true. My God, I'm so sorry, but Jan Arden's just walking past with her dog at the moment, which is hilarious. I'm at Jan Arden's house, sat in the back, and the signal's best in the van. So there you go. That's a nice way to end. But what I would say is that positive change looks different for everyone. And one thing that, from my own personal experience, as I was growing up, I felt very overwhelmed, as we've spoken about all of the different places where I felt like I needed to put my focus and attention to create positive change in the world. And it's unsustainable and exhausting to be overworking yourself like that. I feel like almost a stress to put a foot in every pond. Is that an expression?
It is now.
It is now.
I
don't know why you'd put us in a pond, but yeah,
I can envisage that really well.
Yeah, can you? I can envision it too. Personal joke. Anyway, but what I would say is it looks different for everyone. keep like really checking in with yourself. And you know, we're talking about authenticity, we're talking about connecting with who you really are at your core. And it's just like it's both a journey of, you know, seeing where you can be of service, but also like what speaks to you and what lights you up, because that's where real sustainable change comes. Because I think there's a very common misconception that to create positive change in the world, you have to sacrifice things. And I actually don't think that that's true. And as I'm sort of the insights that are coming through at the moment for me is like, we need all different types of change makers in the world. And what's going to speak to one person is not going to speak to the other, but that's great. That's good. We should be celebrating and uplifting each other and their differences rather than judging people for not being like you. You know, we need to be continuing to amplify each other rather than put people down. So with that in mind, go have a beautiful day. And yeah, I was going to say start the wave, which is a very corny way to end it, but
all right, well, now we have to end it that way. I can't top that.
Should we all like do a wave? Like,
I would say, like, how are we aligned in the box?
Yeah, I don't know how we're aligned. I think we all have a different view.
Or like one of these ones?
Yeah, that's
no, that doesn't work either. But thank you guys so much, and thank you for being a part of this team and making such a difference. This team is, I think I told Porter this, what I would call a dream team. Seriously, you guys are amazing. And now everybody knows who the team is.
Yeah, exactly. Yay.
Thanks,
super cool.
Corinne.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
guys.
so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Winnie. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.